Okay, so morning. I'm going to talk to you this morning about scholarship and your 7-year journey. I'm going to start by making 3 bold statements. Statement 1, anyone can be a scholar. Statement 2, in the real world, i.e. outside of school and education, there is no such thing as subject. And number 3, the words you choose matter. And what I'm going to do today is look at what the impact of that might be for you as learners at school. So, first off, what is a scholar? If we're going to all be one, we might as well know what it is. So, a person with great knowledge, usually of a particular subject. Now, I reckon that almost everybody here looking at this presentation will have great knowledge of a subject. That might be your local football team. It might be fishing. It might be maths or science, but something you'll know a lot about. A person who studies a subject in great detail, especially at university, is another definition. And we do sometimes think of it more as an academic subject rather than, say, football or fishing, but that doesn't mean it's any less valid. And someone who's intelligent or good at learning by studying is another definition of it. And I think we can all get better at studying and all get better at learning by studying. And a lot of that is about practice. And I think it's also worth saying that intelligence is pretty domain specific. In other words, you can be very intelligent, in inverted commas, in maths, but you might struggle a bit more in English or vice versa. So that's what a scholar is. What's scholarly learning? Well, scrupulous, that basically means honest. So you acknowledge and evaluate sources. Deductions are made with care. Conjecture is bold and honest. So what that means is that when you are sort of coming up with an idea or hypothesis, you're honest that you don't necessarily know it's right, but you think it might be. You don't pretend it's fact when it's just a suggestion or you're not 100% sure. And you don't steal other people's ideas. You acknowledge where your ideas and thinking has come from. Your learning is extensive, so that means you know a lot of breadth, but you also know in a lot of depth. Precision and detail are valued, so we think exact information is important, and that we can be critical, which is the idea that we can challenge knowledge, but we don't need to criticize somebody as a person just to challenge their idea, and that we can all get better through thinking critically. So what can you do to become a scholar? Well, read widely. I think number 1, if there was going to be one, reading widely is probably the single thing. But in class and outside of class, based on what you're reading and hearing, ask difficult questions and link to that seeking out challenge. Shouldn't be worried about challenge. Okay, challenge is a good thing. It helps us learn. It helps us grow. Helps us improve. By asking questions, by being critical, you can help others to clarify their thinking, and it'll help clarify your thinking. Revising thoroughly, I mean, most of us need to see things at least 3 or 4 times until we really remember those things. So revising is really important if we're going to be able to do some of those difficult things, under exam conditions in particular. And that we can justify our decisions and we can critique our ideas and the ideas of others and understand that that isn't the same as criticising them as a person. If you can do those things in class and outside, then you'll take big strides towards being a scholar. So, bold point number 2, subjects don't really exist at all. Well, they are to some extent at least an artificial construct that helps us understand the world. Now, your curriculum is broken down as an introduction to the best that has been thought and said. So some of the best ideas get put into your curriculum and into subjects, and some of the best things that have been said are included. And that's why, some people say, why do we study Shakespeare? Well, you study Shakespeare partly because it's reckoned to be some of the best writing about the human condition, about people's emotions and relationships and behaviours that there's ever been. And what's quite remarkable is how little those emotions, behaviours, etc., how little people fundamentally have changed over hundreds and hundreds of years. And if you can see through the language and you can see through the old-fashioned kind of context, you can really see that. Your curriculum's also packed with what we call powerful knowledge. And as Christine Counsell says, it enables you to clamber into the discourse and practices of educated people and so gain the powers of the powerful. People in power know certain things. And a lot of that is in your curriculum. Okay, and you only have to see sort of the way that Boris Johnson speaks sometimes, the references to wars and to classical literature and things like this, that to help you understand where they're coming from and to help you step up into that world. The biggest thing really, when I say that subjects don't really exist, is that they shouldn't be seen as a set of boxes that put ideas in them and you can never mix those ideas. And I've got some examples for you of some people who are like that. So Leonardo da Vinci, there's one. He definitely didn't see subjects in boxes. If you look at all his range of interests, drawing, painting, sculpture, well, okay, you might think they're all fairly artistic. Architecture, science, music, maths, engineering, literature, anatomy, geology, astronomy, then botany, paleontology, and cartography. So many different subjects, so many different disciplines. And a quote from him: to develop a complete mind, study the science of art, study the art of science, learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. And this is sort of my plea really that chimes with that. The things you learn in different subjects don't stop there, they relate to other things. And you don't need to see it as a straitjacket or a limitation. Another one, Aristotle. So he was interested in every possible science practiced in his time, as it says there, but they include physics and biology, zoology, metaphysics, logic, ethics, aesthetics, poetry, theatre, music, rhetoric, linguistics, and politics. So a real broad range there as well. And another nice quote: it's the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. And that alludes to that criticality that I was talking about earlier. The idea that you can hear something, you can learn it, and then you can critique it and question it and find out whether it's truly correct in all circumstances. So, yeah, key thing there really, subjects don't end with subjects, don't be constrained by those subjects. And thirdly, the words you choose matter. So the way you use language enhances the precision of what you are trying to explain. Remember, scholars are exact in what they want to say and how they say it. Understanding language enables you to enter the conversation of the powerful and engage with important issues. Now, word of the week, we have that at King John, and it's only just the start. Here's some of the words that you have come across if you've engaged with word of the week. And if not, then I suggest you do. Some great words there. Some words that would help enhance the way you write and the way you speak. But it's not the end. So, got a little activity for you. This is a small extract that I'd like you to read. And I'd like you to think about what is it saying, what is the scene it's describing, and what do you need to know to access this. So I'm going to give you a few minutes, just pause the video and come back when you've read it and had a little think. Okay, welcome back. Hope you had a look. So the key thing is really, what do you need to know? Well, you need to know a bit about cultural capital, and you need to hopefully realise that this is about the Industrial Revolution. Okay, it's about the industrialisation of the British Isles. And you might have seen a few things. I mean, just the British Isles, knowing the history of that might be a good start. But the Cyclops' cave, understanding what a Cyclops is, what their behaviour was, had a habit of killing, eating people. I think the Cyclops in at least one or two of the myths and legends that you can read. And the Empire, the idea of the British Empire being an empire where the sun never set, the idea that we had a navy that could conquer various parts of the world, that gave us raw materials and workers and supplied our growth in industrialisation and living standards. And that idea was probably really important to this. And then we've got the language, and you might have picked up that this isn't a really cheerful piece, but if you pick up the language, there's lots and lots and lots of references to death, references to sort of cemeteries and tombs and graves, which really underscores and underlines the view that this is not a positive scene. And that might sort of chime with you, the sort of idea of the satanic mills, images like this of lots of pollution, lots of change in the environment, poor working conditions for the workers, that kind of thing. So the point I'm trying to make is the more you understand about language and its inference, the more you can take from written pieces, the more accurate your response can be, and the more alive things become. And so 3 things you can do to sort of help you become more scholarly, to get closer to that level of cultural capital, improve the way you speak and write. So point 1, ask yourself, can I say it better? In your verbal and in your written answers, is your language the best it can be? Have you engaged with Word of the Week? Have you fully developed your answers? So not only have you chosen the right words, but you've really written something that reflects the level of sophistication of your thinking, shows that you've considered different points of view, shows that you've come to a really detailed and accurate judgment. Okay? Those things are really important. So can I say it better? Second thing, constantly look for links. How do topics in each subject relate together? That'll help you. You know, our knowledge and our memory likes to build on existing building blocks and existing foundations. The more you can connect things up, the more memorable things are. The more memorable things are, you know, obviously the better it is. How do skills and knowledge you've developed in one class, on lesson, inform other lessons? And that's a really good thing to think about as well. And look for those links because they will connect up in various ways. And the third thing is that reading of good quality literature and following the news and reading the news through a good quality paper or a good, well-written sort of journalistic app. If you're not quite sure where to start, ask your teachers, go to the library, try the Accelerated Reader Programme, which is done through English, speak to your English teacher about that, or look at the website, which I do quite like, which is whatshouldireadnext.com. You can put in things you like reading at the moment. It'll tell you what else to read. And by doing that, you'll get exposed to a broader range of ideas, a broader range of language, and become more scholarly. So 3 things you can do to improve your learning and improve your enjoyment of learning. Have a great week and keep working hard. Thanks.